Today we're going to be making some out of this world looking dice. I'm going to show you how I did it, doing some new things with resin, filling that resin with brass shavings, even making that resin all shiny and coating it in a nice chrome brass color. A long while back I got a big old bag of brass shavings and I think they're real pretty, but I didn't just get any bag of brass shavings. I got them from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Peter Brown. This guy inspired me and many others to start working with resin, and at one point he made
a bowl of pure evil.
He called it a murder bowl, and I made dice as an homage to it a while back using iron shavings, but since he himself has sent me some brass shavings, I thought it was time to revisit that project and see if we can do it better. They're very sharp, so I'm going to stop touching them, but they're also very thin and easy to break. Because of how thin and light they are, they actually take up very little volume in a dice mold, so I really don't think they're going to affect the outcome of the rolls of a die, but I could be very wrong. I tried to actually start this project a long time ago, so technically this video is a take number 2, and I'm going to show you briefly what I did. I made some red resin and poured it in a mold full of brass, and they turned out really ugly, and I wasn't very happy with them, but that wasn't the main problem. They had huge raised lips because there was metal sticking all the way out of the molds, and it was raising the actual lid of the molds, and it was just a mess of a project, so I wanted to start all the way over using shell molds, because I think they're the solution to the problem I had last time. Shell molds actually involve two separate molds, one that is a completely blank set of dice, and then the other one that has a bunch of numbers that's about 10% larger. Those inserts I will set inside the normal set of dice, and I can put whatever I want inside the inserts. Hopefully this fixes the issue that I ran into last time, but it's actually easier to show rather than tell you exactly what happened. So as you can see, when I'm filling up this mold with brass shavings, a lot of the metal tries to stick upwards and it will try and lift the lid off and create these weird little raised lips on the die. That's no fun, but also the metal will try and stick on the edges of the die on all sides, and you'll get tiny little pieces of metal that are sticking out. They're really sharp and they're hard to sand down. Now that the insert mold is filled with brass shavings, we're going to go ahead and mix up some resin. I'm using a 2-part resin that is equal parts by volume resin and hardener. I always find that the easiest, and I get a lot of questions about why people's resin won't cure. You're probably mixing by weight. You got to really read those directions. Sometimes they say by weight, sometimes they say by volume. Envirotex is always by volume, and I like to just be able to eyeball it, so that's why I like to use Envirotex light resin. There are a bunch of others that will work, but I mix this for about 5 minutes or until my hands are sore. Now I'm adding the closest thing I have to a secret ingredient to make my resin look good, and that's just a few drops of this Bria Reese liquid glitter. All it does is make things really, really shiny, and so I've pretty much added to almost any set of dice that I make. It very rarely is what defines a dice set, but it often turns a good dice set into a great one. Now we got to pour it into the mold. I'm going to pop any surface bubbles that I can with a lighter because we don't want that many bubbles inside of here, and we're already going to make a bunch by nature of how the brass is set up. There's going to be a ton of places for resin or air to get trapped down inside of there, so we want to pour very, very slowly. You can see here I barely put any resin in, and it just takes a while for it to go down, so be patient. I'm really telling myself that more than I'm telling you. Patience is not my strong suit. As I sit here, I try and pop any surface bubbles that make their way to the top, but I'm going to take my time on this. Envirotex light resin takes about 40 minutes before it starts curing. A long cure time resin is great for this. It gives more time for air bubbles to come to the top, so you can take your time, smack the mold around a little bit. You can see bubbles coming up to the back even as I'm working on other dice there. Smack it around a little more. I pour some resin on the lid. That's just something I always do to make sure I have plenty of resin. Pop any surface bubbles with the lighter that I can. You should use a heat gun if you have one. I just don't have a heat gun. Also, I'm a professional and I definitely didn't put the lid on the wrong direction the very first time. It's been a while since I've made some dice, so give me some credit here. We got to put it back into the pressure pot. I've got my shop time sticker on there, so that's guaranteed that these dice are going to come out well. I put the normal mold down in there, and then I put the outside mold on top of it to help weigh the lid down. I always find that that helps make sure that I don't have any weird raised surfaces on the dice. 24 hours at 30 PSI, and these dice are ready to be demolded. I guess not dice, they're just inserts, but you can see why this was a good idea. There's already a bunch of sharp bits of metal sticking up and out of the lid, and that's going to be happening on all sides of the dice, even if you don't see it there. We're also going to get a lot of flashing that you can take off with an X-Acto knife, but because these are inserts, I'm just going to pop it off. That leaves a really unclean surface for you to work with if you have to sand dice down. Luckily with inserts, the edges are largely just going to disappear into the outer shell resin. Now you can see some of the brass found its way sinking to the bottom because I didn't fill the D4 mold all the way up. The rest of them, however, I think I pretty much filled every corner to corner with brass, and so like the D6 here looks fantastic, so does the D20. Every little area is covered in brass. brass. And so I think that helps with the weight distribution as well. As for the color that we're choosing, I went with a purple alcohol ink so that it would be semi-transparent. And I'm going to add either a gold or silver liquid glitter to the resin. I hadn't quite decided what I wanted to put in the outer shell mold yet, but let's go ahead and mix up the resin. It's going to be the same as last time, though I need far less resin this time, so I'm just mixing up a small amount. In the end, I decided to go with silver because I think if I added the gold, it would detract from the brass color that I want on the inside. I really want those shavings to be the star of the show, and having the same additive on the shell resin that I did on the inserts will help blend the two a little better. You can see when I put this insert in here, luckily the numbers help kind of hold the inserts in the center of the dice mold, so I don't have to worry about hand centering it. I pour just a little bit of resin into the bottom of the mold, and then I just do a drop of the alcohol ink. I want it to spread out just a little bit because I want this to look like ink inside water, a freshly dropped bit of ink. I place the insert in and I'm hoping that it will just kind of slide up and over the die in a way that's pleasing and looks, you know, like ink drops. You can see on the bottom there, that's kind of what I was going for. This little slide up of purple and a bunch of clear spots where there's still clear resin so you can see inside, and it just looks like purple's barely affecting the outside. I think if I was doing this again after seeing the final results, I would try and find a way to get smaller droplets of the alcohol ink. The purple kind of takes over. As far as here, it looks like everything is going to work exactly how I wanted it to. So I was really pleased with the promise of how things were going to turn out, but reality turned out to be a little different in the end than I wanted. Here it looks perfect, but I guess as the resin begins to cure and heat up, that kind of mixes itself together. And so it doesn't exactly come out like I was hoping for, but I do think it turned out better, potentially, because these are amazing looking. After I let them cure in the pressure pot for 72 hours, they are rock hard, and they look like they came straight out of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. They are phenomenal. The only real flaw that I noticed was on this D6 here, there's a tiny gap and a tiny void on the 3 side. I guess some metal stuck out and it caused there to be an issue, but it's not enough for me to completely remake these dice, and it might even sand away. So we'll see in the end if that's still there. The D8 is absolutely my favorite, a huge improvement from when I was going to do it in all red, and the D20 is just so good. I've got something special I want to ink these dice with, but before we do, let's talk about today's sponsor. Wild Earth Dice has a brand new crowdfunding campaign for their handcrafted liquid core dice called the Visions of 1,000 Galaxies dice sets. The visuals are based on their vision of the galaxy, and the entire duration of the campaign, they're selling these super chunks for 50% off, and by super, I mean super. They're the biggest ones they've ever made. They're liquid core on the inside. They're just absolutely fantastic, and they're not going to be doing that price ever again. So if you want to get them while you can, and if you do back the campaign within the first 48 hours, you're going to be getting a free normal sized liquid core D20 as their way of saying thank you for your support. My personal favorite is the Synthy blue and pink set, so go ahead and back that crowdfunding campaign in the description below, and maybe they'll send me a big old chunk to show off in the future. Back to my galaxy looking dice, I'm going to set down a glass pane because we're going to do some sanding. Normally I start at the 30 micron grit for my Zona papers, but we're actually going to start on the 15 grit today, go to 9, 3, and 1. Sometimes I feel like I don't need to use all the grit, so I'm just going to test that out today and see how it turns out. We've got a lot of sanding to do. The bottom lip has quite a few rough edges to it, so we're going to start on that 15 micron grit paper, move on to the 9 grit paper in the blue, then move down to the 3, and then to the final 1 micron Zona paper. I don't know if that's going to work out well. I just kind of winged it, but everything looks to be really darn good, so I was pretty happy with it. Unfortunately, that little void in the 3 is still there. Again, I don't think it's worth redoing the entire set. I'm not going to notice it, and so hopefully you won't notice it all that much either. Every other side seemed to get really well polished, and I'm really, really pleased with how these turned out. They are super shiny and glass-like, and now what I can show off is my chrome paints. I got this stuff from Green Stuff World, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I've been using it on some Warhammer models every now and again, just to show off some extremely shiny golds, and now obviously I want to paint it gold. I do think the regular chrome metal might look good on it, but I did also order a bronze set to ink this set specifically with. As I pour it out of the bottle here, you can see it does this really cool thing where the mica powder almost floats up towards the top and creates a very pristine mirror-like surface. The larger surface you have to paint it on, the more mirror-like it's going to turn out, but on just the numbers here for these dice, I think it turns out pretty darn well as is. And I am not near precise enough to be able to paint the numbers without getting any paint on the outside, so I just wipe it away with my finger. We can deal with the excess later. I do that with all of the numbers on every single side of the dice. It takes some time to do so, but it's worth it in the end. There's a lot of little streaks on these dice though that need to go away, and the way to clean that up is using some isopropyl alcohol and just wipe away at the surface. I would definitely give it a day for the paint to dry, especially this chrome stuff. It really takes a long time to dry, but man, when it's done, it was worth it, because holy crap, is that some good looking dice right there. Absolutely love it. My only problem with showing these off, and maybe somebody can tell me how to do it in the comments below, is after I use the alcohol to wipe it away, any tiny little bits of fuzz want to kind of block my view of showing how pretty these dice are. But ignoring the little fuzz, they're absolutely fantastic. The D8 is far and away my favorite looking of them. They didn't turn out with that kind of purple inkiness like I had hoped, but hey, I'll take Galaxy gold, purple, blue looking dice any day of the week because they look phenomenal. And when I was test rolling these, I rolled a critical hit before I rolled a critical fail. So these are lucky dice. Not only are they pretty, they're lucky. They also sound amazing. I never really ink the two-sided die. It never turns out all that well when I do it, but I do think it shows off what I was trying to do really well. It has that kind of purple wispiness, so maybe it's the thickness of the dice that kind of makes it impossible to see the purple wispiness. I don't know, maybe I should just have used less alcohol ink. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, because I would maybe like to revisit this style in the future, or maybe the reflectiveness of the brass just causes the color to go all haywire. I don't know, I still think they look amazing. I'm going to be sending them off to Peter Brown as a thank you for all that he does for resin makers on YouTube. No pressure to him to do anything with them. I just want to send them to him. All in all, it's just good to be making videos again. I've got some cool new stuff planned for the near future, so subscribe so you don't miss that when it comes out. Like the video if you like it. Comment if you didn't like it, because at least that helps me in the algorithm. Either way, I hope you have a fantastic day.